back to My Therapist Said. My name is Stephanie and I am your host. Welcome back to the show, you guys. How the fuck are we feeling? Good, I hope. Today's Friday, so there's that. We love Fridays, right? Welcome back to the show, you guys. Today's episode is going to be about... I went to therapy yesterday, so we're gonna reflect. Then I just kind of want to talk about what I'm feeling about life. I feel that I'm like hitting a pivotal moment a little bit where I'm a little sad girl vibes. So enjoy! Oh wait, and Bubsie's here. Hi guys. Welcome back to the show. How are you feeling? What's going on? Happy Friday. If you are not watching on YouTube, I'm going to tell you about my makeup really quick. So I'm going to explain it to the best of my ability. You know when there's just this really bomb-ass, blown-out bottom waterline? Well, I feel that I officially nailed it today. And at times, it's hard to blow out a waterline because it gets muddy quickly, right? Think bottom lashes mixed with, like, if you put any mascara on, we're trying to do, like, blended shadow, but we have mascara going on. So, like, what if, right, it gets kind of muddy quick if you're not careful with doing a really bomb, blown-out bottom lash. And mine today is like this reddish tone, and I just have to say that I fucking nailed it. Like, sometimes when I do my makeup, I'm like, you still motherfucking got it. Okay, well, that's what I wanted to say. Second thing I wanted to say, for the people that wear makeup, I was gonna say for the girlies, but really for whoever, you guys, makeup trends. Okay, I may be a little behind because I don't watch like makeup videos like I used to. In circa 2015 to 18, let's say. Inner corner highlight was very in. Is that still in? Because I am doing it today, but I was also like, I have to ask the girlies, always gender inclusive girlies, are we still doing inner corner highlight? Is that still a cool thing? And then the other part is the underbrow highlight, which I understand we don't do highlight in the underbrow anymore, but what are you guys putting under your brows? Like, I just went with YSL Touche Eclat today because I knew that was more of a, it's not totally matte, but it's also not a concealer. And that is a good underbrow color, but what are the girlies putting it under their brows? So I just had those two questions for the chat. Other than that, I think I have no additional questions, but I'll let you guys know if I do. So that's what's going on for today. And no, I really am that bitch. And I'm going to tell you guys about yoga. First of all, have I been up since 2:21 this morning? I have. Why, Stephanie? Why have you been up since 2:21 this morning? I have literally no idea other than the fact that like my brain is just like, and it's just time to dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, why is it this way? I don't know. But the good thing about this morning when I woke up at 2:21 is I wasn't really spiraling or worried. I was just awake. And I refused to go on my phone. I was like, Stephanie, do not. Also, you guys, I did tint my eyebrows this morning. And at times, sometimes I don't get all my tint off all the way. So if my brows get increasingly darker as the video goes on, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. And if you're like, wow, they're too dark, that's totally fine because it's tint and it starts out dark and then it goes lighter. Okay. I feel that eventually people are just going to have to watch the video because I won't stop yapping about my makeup looks. Okay. Anyway, focus, Stephanie. 2:21 in the morning. So I woke up. I wasn't that worried, but I was awake. And here's my routine of what I do when I wake up in the middle of the night. I tell myself, calm down. I swear to God, if you think about BCBS right now, Stephanie, do not, whatever you do not let Magellan cross your little circus mind. Don't even start with me, Stephanie Crawl. Don't even... If EAP comes into the circus space, oh, we're fucked. So I was intentionally trying not to worry about EAP. I was intentionally not thinking about BCBS, Magellan, or any insurance company. Okay, Stephanie, great start. Then I was like, sometimes I'll go outside because I have a slider. I love this part of my house. I have a slider in my bedroom and it goes right to the backyard. So without waking up Bubsie's, I can go. Did I say Bubsie's here? Bubsie's here. We told him no snoring on the track today, and he said, Samantha, I'll do my best. So this morning, 2:21:70, here we are. Are you guys with me? Are we all Are we having a good time? Okay, we're beep bopping around. Are you with me? Great. Am I with me? Awesome. Okay, I'm outside 222 probably at this point, and I just like try to stretch, breathe, look at the stars, and get cold. Because sometimes if I make myself uncomfortable, sometimes I could sleep a little better. Get cold. And then here's the next step. This is a circus experience because my life is a circus, I know. So then I walk inside and I lay down on the floor, on my hardwood floor. Why do you do that, Stephanie? Because that's what I heard people used to I heard a comedian one time talk about. And then I'm like, is every funny person, do we all struggle to sleep? And then I'm like, this is really my crowd, right? I love my little morning bad bitches, right? At yoga, I found my crowd there. And then I like to make jokes on the podcast. So then I'm like, maybe I'm funny because I also have bad sleep. And I think all of us get along and we all do the same thing. Okay. So I was listening to this comedy stand-up the other day. And she was like, raise your hand if you have any, if you have any tricks on sleeping. Because I can't fucking sleep. And I was like, oh my God, I'm listening, because give me some. And everybody was saying the stupid stuff that everybody always says. Not stupid stuff, but just the regulars. And the one thing I hadn't heard yet is this guy was like, when I can't sleep, I wake up, I walk into my kitchen, and I lay down on the cold tile. Which I was like, that sounds fucking awful. Like, I have chills right now just thinking about it. Like, ugh, it's so uncomfortable and so cold. But you guys, it low-key works. Sometimes it low-key works. I've tried it multiple times and it does really work because you're so uncomfortable. So what I do is I go outside first and I'm freezing cold. Right. This is what I have to do in the middle of the night. This is what it's like to be 34 years old and me. I know. It's a circus experience. I'm not joking. You guys think this is a game? This is not a game, nor is it a circus. It's my real fucking life. Okay. So I go back in and I lay down on the hardwood floor and I was like, I'm so uncomfortable. It's so cold. My joints hurt on the fucking wood floor. Like, I was just fucking, like, I just can't stand this, but let me just see if it helps. At this point, it's probably like maybe almost 3. I've been going outside, laying on the floor, whatever. And I go back to bed. It doesn't work. Nothing works. I just like lay there and I'm like, again, I'm like not anxious, but as the time goes on, and the number one thing they say to not do is obviously go on your phone, which I didn't do, but they tell you to not check the time. And on the my phone has the time and I do check the time. So I'm like, oh my God, it's almost 3. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's fucking 3:15. Oh my God, it's 3:40 fucking 5. And then I was like, somebody just try to just like, what can you do? So I tried to meditate. I tried to do my soundscapes. I changed my soundscapes and I listened to a different one. And then I listened to a different one. And then I was like, wow, this 2-hour soundscape is already fucking over? What the fuck have I been doing for the past 2 motherfucking hours? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what I've been doing for 2 hours, but I've been doing something. I've been fucking laying here thinking about shit. Just to my original point from Wednesday, right? I'm not going to tell myself I can't sleep anymore. I'm just going to say I'm thinking about shit. I don't know. What are you thinking about, Stephanie? I don't know. I'm just thinking about shit. My brain just like wakes up. Like, thank God, shout out to the universe, whoever's in charge here. Thank God that I wasn't really, really anxious, but I was just like, feeling defeated, definitely. But when I do reframe it to like, maybe I'm just thinking about shit, I'm like, okay. And I also went to bed really early, like at 8, not to be, right? It's embarrassing and I don't like to say it because people are going to be like, she's such a loser. And I'm like, no, I know. The way I used to like be starting a work shift at that time, and now I'm like, remember when I used to sling fondue? That shit would start a little later, and I'd be off at like 1 a.m. I used to be living so different, and now I'm like, God, not me in bed by 8, not me up at 2:21 like a fucking 80-year-old person. No shade, I'm just not 80. I'm 34. So anyway, and then I start panicking about yoga, and then I'm like, how am I going to feel at yoga? It's getting close to 4:45. How am I going to feel? Dun, 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 dun. And then I was like, okay, let's just, I don't know, Stephanie. And then I started crying. I wasn't going to tell you guys that part. I started crying. At like 4:15, I started crying. Because I was like, damn, I've been laying here for 2 fucking hours. Like, you know what made me start crying? And this is what always makes me start crying. I was like, are you okay? Like, I asked myself that question. I was like, are you okay? Like, are you good, girl? And I was just like tears. Like, I'm just like, I'm literally just like not. And since you asked, like, to me, how dramatic? Could she be any more drama? I don't think I could be any more drama. So then I shed like 4 tears, and then I was like, all right, time to get up and go to yoga. What a freaking dream. What a dream. All right, let me just fucking go do some yoga. So I went to yoga and I actually did feel better. All my friends were there. My friends from my old studio were there. My friends from the studio I usually go to are there. And everybody was like, we missed you yesterday. And I was like, I know. My back's been hurting. I haven't told you guys that part. My back's been hurting. So I skipped yoga on Wednesday and Thursday. Maybe I went Wednesday, skipped Thursday. Like a calendar, because I do write it down now, like I told you guys to do. Oh yeah, I skipped on Wednesday. I skipped on Tuesday because on Monday I cried, remember? And then I went Wednesday, and then I skipped on Thursday, which is my favesy class with all my favorite bad bitches. But unfortunately, my back was like, you're not going to be a bad bitch today. You're going to get hurt if you continue this type of antics, Stephanie. So I didn't go. But this morning I was sad, and my friends were like, we missed you yesterday. And I was like, I know, I missed you guys too. And then in my mind, I'm like, you guys don't even have any idea how I'm fucking up at 4:45 thinking about, wow, I don't get to go to yoga today. Wow, I miss my friends. And then at 5 o'clock, I'm like, everybody's getting there right now. And then at 5:15, I'm like, I would be getting here right now. And then at 5:30, I'm like, oh my God, the class just started. And then at 5:37, I'm like, I bet that they're doing planks. And then at 5:45, I'm like, maybe it's time for maybe they're picking up their weights for the first time, and maybe they're doing warrior 2. And like, okay. And then I'm like, and then it's like 6, and I'm like, ugh. They're so lucky. Probably it's the first time they get a little break of the day. Maybe this is the time where they get to sit and do their stretches and they get to drink their water. And then I'm like, oh, and then they get to do what? Burpees without me? And then what? Some jumping jacks without me? And then I'm like, who's in my spot? Who's in my spot next to all my friends? Are my friends even noticing that I'm not there? Who's in my spot? Right? Yeah. The drama. They're like, we missed you. And I'm like, you have no idea how much I missed you too. Why? I don't know. This is just how it is. And no, the way like 6:30 rolls around, I'm like, and they're done. Everybody's walking to their cars. I hope they had a good class. I hope they're having a really good day. I don't get to say bye to all my friends. See you tomorrow. I don't get to do all that, but I hope they know I will see them tomorrow because I'm gonna come back tomorrow because I miss them so much. And then at like 7, I'm like, oh, I'd be getting home right now for Bubsie, but I'm already home because I didn't go to yoga today. And that's how it impacts me when I don't go to yoga. My brain still goes to yoga. You know what I mean? We be doing backflips up fucking here. Up here, we're doing fucking one-legged burpees. We're doing two-legged burpees. We're doing a backflip, a handstand. You know, we're doing little circus experience inside my noggin. My body is just sitting and, I don't know, journaling or something because sleeping, not an option. Okay? Why can't I sleep, guys? Does anyone, I know other people deal with this. What's the reasoning? I'm like, if it's not anxious thinking, is it that I go to bed too early? But I wake up so goddamn early, I'm not going to go to bed any later than 8. My friends I see at yoga, though, they tell me the same stuff. And they also say that, like, because they have kids, like, I literally have no responsibilities other than myself, and every once in a while I have to take care of the pit bull. But other than that, no responsibilities. Can I just say one thing? I hate, is this controversial? Stephanie, are you sure? I don't like dog mom. I think it's so, I don't like that. Because I could imagine that when people have kids and they hear people yapping in the street about how they're a parent too, to like a pit bull, I'm like, ugh, like read the room, dude. Like there's this not the same. Like I don't even compare it even a little. Like I'm like to Bubs, I'm Samantha, and Bubs thinks everybody has a Samantha. We don't refer to owners of dogs as parents because I just don't believe that they are. And I'm not trying to discredit having a dog. Yes, it's a responsibility, but is it like parenthood? I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I mean, Bubs fucking okay. Just don't tell Bubs that I don't think Bubs can hear me. But like he's only gonna live until he's like maybe like 10 or a little older than that. Like we're not talking like how long do humans live? 80 fucking years? You know what I mean? Like what do you mean dog mom? Okay, anyway, I'm gonna drop it. But like what? What are we doing with the dog parent thing, guys? I just could not disagree more. I've never done it. Even here's what happens at the vet. People will always, and I wonder if people do this with men too. Okay, men who have dogs, when you bring your dog to the vet, do they refer to you as dad? They might. I could see that happening. But part of me feels like, is this just for women? Because they refer to me as, I'm going to start throwing up. Not MOM. No. They refer to me as mom, and I'm like this, like, please stop. And I correct them. I'm like this. Actually, Bubs refers to me as Samantha. Not me correcting the vet tech. Because I don't subscribe, guys. I don't subscribe. I just don't agree. And my biggest reason is for the parents out there. That's my biggest reason. But the reason inside of me is I'm not that's just not my vibe, not my thing. I never wanted kids my whole life. I didn't know we were going to talk about this today on the podcast, but if you wanted to know, now you know. Like, it's never been within me. I remember as a child being like, I would like everyone around me to grow the fuck up. Like, I was just like, I always felt like I was a little bit adult when I was a kid, and I always knew that I didn't want to be around children. So then parenthood was never something that even crossed my mind. So the mom thing has never crossed my mind as well. Like, and it just makes me feel please don't do that to me. Like, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. And I literally tell the vet, they're like, isn't your name Stephanie? And I'm like, it's a running bit. Just leave it. Yes, it's because his listening ears are off, so he hears it and he thinks my name's Samantha, and I'm not going to correct him now because we've had him for 8 years and he hasn't corrected himself. So, and then I'm running bits at the fucking, I almost said the dog park, but do I run bits at the dog park? Yeah, totally. But I'm running bits at the vet and everyone's laughing and they're like, okay, Samantha, and like, that's just how we leave it because that's just not okay. Do we agree? Do we not agree? Sorry, there was a sticker hanging off the side of the desk and wait, hold on. Now I have to fix it again because it was touching something. Not me doing OCD in real time. I can't have things hanging off, and I also can't have something touching another thing. Okay, here it is. Ready? It looks okay. It has to be proportionate from all three things. So right now I'm looking at this desk and there's 3 things on it: a cup, a sticker, and a mirror. So the sticker has to be like equally proportionate from the cup and then to the mirror and then to the edge of the desk, so it all looks kind of centered so I can talk on the podcast. Does that make sense to the non-OCD people out there? If it doesn't, that's okay, because to the ones who do have OCD, you guys are gonna feel me on that one. The importance of the sticker to mirror to cup ratio is very focused, Stephanie. Focus. Okay. What's new with me? I went to therapy yesterday. Thank fuck. We talked a lot about anger, which I feel like is important for me to, maybe I'm just going to reflect for a moment on the podcast. Thanks guys for the space. You're like, I didn't agree to this. I didn't sign an informed consent for this. And I'm like, well, the therapist that has a podcast is a little bit different. And I don't think you guys have to sign an informed consent. I'm assuming that when you clicked on the My Therapist Said episode, that is your consent. You agreed to hear it. Whatever's going to go on in the circus little mind. Here's what's going on in my circus mind. I was telling my therapist yesterday that I'm so fucking angry. Angry about what? Mostly insurance companies, just the mental health field. I feel myself feeling super frustrated. And the more feedback I get online on my Instagram, the more I feel very, very validated and also more angry because like I told you guys in that episode where I talked about closing my practice, should you call it back? My brows are totally getting darker as I talk. Just ignore it, Stephanie. Just leave it alone. Did I not take all the color out? Probably not. They kind of look good, but they are dark. Okay. So in Life is a Horror Movie, I talked about my practice closure and I could hear the anger in my voice. Like I could really tell how angry I was under the surface, and like I cried and there was so much sadness for sure. But a big piece of this is definitely anger. And I said it like it's been mostly because like it's not just me. I wish this was just a personal failure. I do wish that I didn't have what it takes to run a private practice. I wish that was true, but instead it's not. And so many other therapists out there are struggling. People in community mental health don't make enough money and they work a lot. People that are working in group practices feel like they kind of give a big cut to the group practice, struggling to get referrals. Like there is just like so many therapists out there that are really struggling, and it makes me feel so sad. And then telehealth companies, right, taking like the majority of our income. I mean, I shouldn't. Group practices are probably still the ideal in this moment, like a regular group practice, but telehealth group practice is not a group practice. Telehealth is a tech company. So it's just like feels like everyone's upset with me. And I love that because I feel validated, but I'm like, fuck, like everyone's upset with me. Like, damn it, you know? And it makes me feel really angry at the field. And I was telling my therapist this yesterday, and she was just like, I mean, obviously she gets it, but she's just like, she essentially was like, it's okay to spiral, but being mindful that like anger, she always helps me with this feeling, with this. Like, she's like, it's not a problem inherently to feel anger. Because in my mind, I'm like, I feel anger. This is something I need to fix. You know, I either need to like flip the mental health industry upside down and actually make changes here, or make content about it, or commiserate with other therapists about it, or just fucking advocate in a yoga class about it. Like, that's what I do to move my anger, but the anger is just sitting with me still. And I was telling her, I was like, I feel like it's like hardening me. Like my shell is like getting harder. Like the minute someone talks about therapy or talks about mental health, or if I hear therapy is expensive one more fucking time, I'm going to lose my shit. And it's like, why am I on the edge of a freaking angry outburst at every fucking moment? Like, it's exhausting. And I was just telling her all of this. And I was like, honestly, I feel that this field has chewed me up and spit me out. And she was just like, that's okay. That's okay. Like, let the spiral, essentially, is what she's telling me. And she's like, to feel anger is not inherently a problem. Just feel it. Like, just feel your anger and know, okay, this is anger. Why did that work? Why do I feel way better today? Dear, a baby. You guys, a really little baby. Oh my God. Oh my God, a really, really little baby. Aw, Bubsie, there's a baby outside. And it's a mom. See, that's a mom. That's a mom. With the deer, that's a mom. Okay? Me, I'm Samantha. Okay. Anyway. And therapy really helped. Therapy really fucking helped. It was just, what the reframe was literally, anger is not a problem. Like, that's literally the reframe that I needed to hear. Because I was out here being like, my anger is an issue. I'm the problem. I'm making everything worse. Da-da-da-da-da. This field has chewed me up. This field has split me out. I don't know that I want to do this anymore. I'm so overwhelmed with all this emotion. And she was just like, okay. Like, she gave like nothing. And that makes me feel so... That's what I need. And I do think that shout to the therapists that write in on my Instagram. I love you. And thank you so much for continuing the conversation. You are so important. I'm going to preface it with that. You are so important. And also, I need to understand my own mental capacity when I read all of the feedback, because if I'm already angry and I read all that feedback of other people that are also struggling like I am, it does impact me like a million times more. Because my therapist, what she did is she didn't commiserate with me. She was just like this. Okay, and I don't see the issue here, Stephanie. She's like, maybe the job's just hard. And maybe it did chew you up. And maybe the private practice wasn't your thing. Okay. And I'm like, oh. So you don't need to add 70,000 layers of emotion on that? Oh, okay. I was under the impression that you did need to layer on 70,000 emotions. So that really helped. That really helped. I have a note written down that I just wanted to say. This is so random. But after therapy, I was doing my little, you guys, okay, if you guys go to therapy, I would really encourage you guys to journal after therapy. I know, I'm so insufferable. I hear myself. I know that. But I mean, really, if you think therapy's expensive, then get your hours worth and fucking spend like, I mean, sometimes I'll spend an hour after. Cause I'm like, $195. If I'm with her for an hour, then I do my own thing for an hour, journaling, meditating, whatever. Technically, it's like $100 per, right? Like, it's technically, I'm like, it's not that expensive. But I intentionally make myself sit with my thoughts after, which I did not used to do. I'll say that too. I've been going to therapy, you guys. I think I've had this therapist for like 5 years, working with her when my mom first died. So we go way back, and I used to do therapy a lot different back then. Like I do therapy like I think a lot of people do therapy. You just like fit it into your day, sometimes in the middle of work, you know, and no shade. I get it. Like life is busy, scheduling is challenging. I get all that. If you do have the time to take an hour after, maybe even 30 minutes, maybe 10, I don't really, just any time after to really reflect and feel your feelings, I would encourage you to do so. Because when I journal after therapy, I look back on those journals and I'm like, damn, like that's an extension of that session. Like I really intentionally put, like she brings up ideas for me, and then it's my responsibility to ground those thoughts. And that's how I feel like journaling after helps me. Or I'll do something like silly goose, like we did parts work the other day. I told you guys about, we're doing IFS, and I was doing my parts, and I was like, I told you guys, colored pencils everywhere, drawing it, making little colors based on my feelings. Like, I know I don't want to be doing this either, guys, but I'm a traumatized human with a mental health disorder, and the fact is that I just have to work a little harder to live my day to day. So sometimes after therapy, I gotta bring out my colored fucking pencils, okay? And I just spend some time with myself, and honestly, I feel like that is just as healing as going to therapy. So try to do that, because I do think people just like bounce in and out of therapy. They're like, therapy's not working. It's like, yeah, but that hour of therapy is only the start. Your responsibility is like, what are you going to do with your time when therapy's over? And I'm not saying it's realistic for everybody. I get it. I mean, sometimes I like when I'm a therapist, sometimes I'll even call the session a little early. Don't tell BCBS. Don't tell the insurance companies. But at times when I know my client has to go right back to work, I'll ask them, is it okay if we call it at like 47, and then you can spend until 55 writing and journaling? Like I intentionally, and don't tell, again, it's a 53 plus, so I'm billing 53 plus, but I'm only sitting for 47. Don't fucking tell anybody. But anyway, but I do that intentionally because I know my clients have to go back to work, but I also want them to be able to sit with their thoughts for just a smidgy of time. I'm not saying everybody needs an hour, but just a smidgy of time. So not me on my freaking high horse. Sorry. I just feel like sometimes I have things to say about it all. And before, try to like prep too before. Because again, if you're paying your therapist $195 a session, you know, respect yourself enough to give yourself some time. I'm not great at the before, I'll be honest. I'm like, oh fuck, I have therapy in 10 minutes. Like, but then I do sit down. I'll read my journals and stuff, and I'll be like, what happened this week? Kind of rack my brain. I've been trying to be better about that. Coming to therapy prepared, you know? We actually should come to therapy prepared more often. If I could I just, you know, like I get it that therapy, again, scheduling is tough, but if you really want to be intentional about therapy, then be intentional about therapy. Like talk about, like go through your journals that week, or at least make a list of things you want to talk about in therapy as your life is happening. Like maybe keep it in your notes, maybe keep a little notebook by your bed. I mean, I don't know what you guys do, but I do think it's important that you don't just show up in therapy and just be like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about today? You know, like I do think as a client, you got to kind of come prepared. And I'm saying this to me, you guys, I didn't used to prepare myself for therapy. I used to just like show up in the room and just be fucking happy that I showed up in the room. And sometimes that is enough. I'm not going to act like that's not enough. But if you want to get a little deeper into your process and you've been in therapy for a while, or if you feel like you're kind of hitting a wall with therapy, you're like, I don't really know why I'm doing this anymore. Maybe try to switch how intentionally you do therapy. Like give yourself before time, give yourself like a solid after time to do whatever you need to do to really process those feelings that just came up, and see if that helps. That's it. Just see if that helps. So anyway, I wasn't going to act like a therapist today, but clearly I am. It's like, who the fuck are you to be saying all this about therapy? I'm like, I mean, I was a therapist at one point. So yesterday I was journaling about therapy, all the things that came up for me. And, I was looking for a paperclip, and I really wanted one because I have all my little parts work, like my little papers. And then I have boundaries all written down on my little papers. And my therapist yesterday had me do my boundaries based on my needs. She has this needs list that she gave me that shows me all the needs that human beings have. And then we create our boundaries based on what needs we have. So, of course, it's all color-coded and cutie. And I was like, ooh, I have my little therapy packet. How am I going to like keep this organized and keep this looking good? Of course, everything's about the aesthetic, right? And I was like, fuck, I need a paperclip. I'm looking everywhere. My brain just like goes back to like, you know how many paper clips you've had in your life? Like, you've probably come across like 3 million paper clips in your life, Stephanie. You're 34. Like, there's no way you over 10, not me being 100, over 3 decades, you've probably seen millions of paper clips. You know how many paper clips I've thrown out? Oh my God. I stay throwing out paper clips. I'm like, this is a mess. I don't need this. I don't need that. I think back to, wow, remember the time that you cleaned out your parents' house? How much shit you threw out then? And it was like, it wasn't shit. It was just like the junk drawer, you know? What's in the junk drawer? Sharpies, pens, paper clips, all this stuff that I'm like, well, for dead parents, we don't need any of this anymore. So I fucking throw it all out. My brain is like, I wish more than anything in this very moment that I had a fucking paperclip. And then I'm thinking, wow, isn't that interesting? Stay with me. Stay with me. Are you with me? Are we with me? Then I'm thinking, wow, you know how many paperclips I've come in interaction with and I've just tossed it out? And then this is all I want right now. It's the only thing I want. My life is literally perfect. I have water. I have clean clothes. I have Bubsalonium. He's happy and healthy. I'm happy and healthy for the most part. Healthy, yes. Happy, moment by moment. And I'm like, I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed. But the one thing I'm missing right now, the one thing I really, really would love more than anything is a paperclip. And then I started to think, isn't that so funny how things are so nothing until there's something so big? Like, think about all the important paper clips in the world. There's paper clips holding together really, really important life-changing documents, and it's just held together by what? A paper clip? The same item that I threw out hundreds and probably thousands of in my whole lifetime? And what? Now you just really need it and you don't have it? What is that? How can a paper clip carry so much weight in some moments and so little weight in others? And then I just started thinking about items in general. Pens, staples, Sharpies, the things that we have and we're like, oh, this is great, I have a pen. But you know those times where you really fucking need a pen and you don't have one? It's excruciating. That's probably dramatic. It's so challenging because you're like, now what? Like, you can't replace that. Like, you couldn't use something else in place of a pen. For the most part, maybe a lip liner, but I'm not touching my lip liners are like $30. You don't put that on paper, please. Absolutely not. We have no pen. I'm not using a lip liner. Sometimes I see people in the movies use lipstick. I'm like this. Oh my God, you're fucking up the shape. What could never be me. No, Steve, you cannot use my lipstick on that mirror. Absolutely not. This is Tom Ford, bitch. You're not gonna fucking write on a mirror. You're gonna fuck up my shape of my lipstick. No. Sometimes you just like really, you know, do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, how come some things can have so much weight and then at other times have nothing? I think of pens, paper clips, you can't use anything else in replacement. What's in replacement for a paper clip? What else could I possibly use? There's literally nothing. You know what I mean? There's nothing that could replace a paper clip when you need a paper clip. And how ridiculous that I just like one day I throw them all out and the next day I'm like, wow, that would really change this experience that I'm currently having if I had that. Anyway, and I wasn't high. This is just how my sober dober brain was working yesterday. And I was like, I should talk about that on the podcast. I wrote down paperclip. Very important, Stephanie. Good job. Good job. Okay. Can I just like talk about something that's been on my mind? When you guys were in high school, okay, I'm going to walk you back. I'm 34. So I graduated from high school in 2010. In 2010, it was like a really big trend to hypnotize people. Do we remember, did this happen to anybody else? The hypnotizing, do you guys remember all that? Okay, there's a documentary that I saw. I'm 70. It's just like SpongeBob and Family Guy. Like, you start it and you're like, you actually you don't have the knowledge nor the words nor the capability to fill the gap of what you just started. But now the train's on the track. So what are you going to do? And then I'm like this, I don't know. Let's see if I can figure it out in real time. Was it Family Guy? Was it SpongeBob? Who's going to help you? Because who is listening to this podcast that's like, oh, I watch Family Guy and SpongeBob. Probably nobody, Stephanie. No one's going to save your ass. Yet you continue you to put the train on the tracks of things you don't know. So here's me putting the train on a track I don't know. So it's an unfamiliar track, but there is a documentary on, I don't even know what it's on, but anyway, it's about this guy. He's a principal and he hypnotizes people, kids, and they like follow him around, and it seemed very odd and shady, but the guy was really trying to advocate for himself. And even some of the kids were like, no, he was a really nice guy. But I'm like, hypnotizing kids in your office? I don't agree, but okay. Anyway, it reminded me though of my 2010 experience of how hypnotizing was really big. We were like hypnotizing everybody. And when we graduated, they did senior night or whatever it's called, the graduation night, essentially when they're trying not to have all the kids get fucked up. And instead they're trying to keep them in the gymnasium until 2:00 in the morning so they're not out drinking, which shout out. I actually think that is a really good idea. I mean, I didn't really drink that much when I was 18, but I was getting down on Four Locos, which was not a good, goddamn. My stomach hurts just thinking about that shit. It's like a very specific stomach ache you get from a Four Loko, and I will never forget it. And I feel like I'm laying on a park bench or sitting in the grass at a park in the middle of the night with a Four Loko stomach ache, hammered as fuck, smoking cigs. And that's what I was doing in high school. Senior year of high school. But I didn't really start partying until I was like 18. And then did it ever stop? It never stopped for the rest of my fucking life. And now here we are, and I'm a drug addict. Okay. Circle back. Where you going? Okay. So I went to senior night, and they hypnotized kids. And it's like sitting weird with me. Did that happen at your guys' senior night thing? Did you guys ever have this hypnotizing kids experience when you were in high school? Like, and then I was thinking, like, is that legal? And then I was like, well, maybe because some of us were 18, but I have to believe not everybody was 18. To put kids under, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know much about hypnotizing, but it seems like you're, like, putting them under a spell. That seems like it's maybe a bad thing to do with some random adult. Where'd you find this adult? Does he, tell me more about Mr. Hypnotizing. Like, what? He's like, okay, to his freaking family. All right, I have to go to work tonight. Where are you going to work? Oh, at this high school. Oh, okay. What time do you start? Midnight? I'll be home at 3. What are you doing? I'm hypnotizing children. I mean, there were adults there. But like, then that makes it even more weird. Like, all you guys are just co-signing that this guy's going to hypnotize children? My dad was there. Dad, I want to ask him so bad. What did you think about that? I know he remembers it too because he was there. I think he was there because he wanted to make sure this is exactly, you guys ready for this? My dad, because I had already got caught doing ecstasy when I was 18 and no, I was 17 maybe. I already got caught with this, so I already got in big fucking trouble. And he was watching me like a fucking hawk. Like, senior ball was ruined. That's the only dance I went to when I was in high school because I had no friends prior. Senior ball ruined because I had just got caught with the whole ecstasy situation. So he was like, I'm not letting her out of my sight. Senior ball, like the minute that the dance ended, I had to come straight back home. It was just like lots of rules because he was worried I was getting fucked up because I was. And he was just like watching me like a hawk. So he was like, I'm gonna go to your graduation like night thing, and he was like, because I want to be a chaperone. But in my mind I was like, no, you want to make sure I don't leave early and go get fucked up, because if he wasn't there I probably would I would have left early, got fucked up, like 1,000,000%. So shout out, Dad. I mean, what you did on that day worked. I still remember it because I remember being like, fuck, my dad's here now, I can't leave and go drink Four Locos. But that's probably a good thing because I really had no business leaving and drinking Four Locos. But instead, what? We're going to watch kids get hypnotized? Anyway, it wasn't me getting hypnotized, but I remember it being weird. And the kids were acting weird. And from what I know about hypnotizing, people don't really remember stuff. Like, it is a legitimately weird thing to do. Not weird, but like it affects your mental. So that seems weird to me. Okay. Anyway. Do we have any more other thoughts about that? What's the documentary called, Stef? Because then maybe you could tell people, because it's really good. Do you even know what it's on? Carly Aquilino like looks stuff up while she's podcasting, and I'm like, that could never be me. There's no way that my stream of consciousness ass could ever shift consciousness from talking, look something up, come back to pod and talk about it. There's no way. My brain is a one-track mind with a zillion different tracks. Sometimes we pull from empty folders and we're like, so that folder's empty. Like, I don't need all the knowledge in the world. Maybe that's what it is. You guys know I hate too much knowledge. There's really nothing I hate more. But anyway, I don't remember what the doc's called. Maybe look up hypnotizing documentary and you guys will find it. Wow, not you giving them homework. It was interesting though. It was like this principal guy that just like hypnotized kids. Like regularly. Like was like, you have a meeting at 3:00 today in Mr. So-and-so's office. And I'm like, what? For a hypnotizing thing? What? I have to believe that deep down he was just trying to help, but on the outside it looks creepy as hell, dude. It just kind of is creepy though. Anyway, so yeah, that's happened at my high school. At my high school graduation. What else is going on in my life at that time? I was partying. That's really when the drugs started, man. Ooh, man, is that when the drugs started? It's like, girl, you had no idea what your future was going to hold. I love making the joke. This is not funny, which is what the funniest jokes are, I do believe. I love making the joke that, like, addiction is literally just one day you do a drug and then, oops, every day for the rest of your life, you're going to think about this. Because, whoops, you said yes one time. I read something the other day that was like, I don't understand why people still do drugs. Everything that you read says that drugs are so bad. Why do people still do it? And I'm like, you guys, because there isn't you can't apply logic to this, to addiction. It's a medical issue. Okay, can we stop? Okay. Final. I was thinking about my podcast on the way home from yoga today, and I was like, I feel like people are always talking about social media and how social media is a highlight reel, right? They're always talking about, oh, people's social media is just like, they only share the good sides of their life, they only talk about the good things happening for them, and that's why social media overwhelms people. And I started thinking about my podcast though, and I was like, my podcast is not like that. I hope not. I intentionally don't make this podcast a highlight reel. Like, I was just talking to one of my friends this morning at yoga, and he was like, he listens to the podcast. Shout out. Hi. He was like, I feel like it's really awesome that you're so vulnerable. You're going to help other people. And it just made me feel like a little bit better. And then I also started thinking how this is truly like the opposite of a highlight reel. Like, I'm not sharing with you guys the good stuff that's happening that much. Like, I share with the good. Like this morning, for example, I was a bad bitch at yoga. And my friend told me that after the class. He said, you're a bad bitch. And I said, no, you're a bad bitch. That's how we build community in our freaking little yoga class at 5:30 in the morning. I love that shit so fucking much. Anyway, so sometimes I do have highlight, moments, and I try to share those for sure. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom on this motherfucker. But at the end of the day, it's like, I really want to tell you guys how I really feel about stuff, because I think that will really help. I think about what therapy is, and therapy is really just people being able to talk about what they really fucking feel about everything. And when I listen to my clients talk with me in therapy, I start feeling better, because I'm like, oh, we all struggle with such similar things. I'm not saying it's all the same, but I am saying there's so many similar themes that we struggle with that, like, why can't I make a podcast that just talks about like my struggles too, like the in between, like, yes, I'm healing, yes, I'm changing, yes, I'm growing. I've changed my relationships with substances over the years, and I've done a great fucking job at that. I've done such a good job at managing my mental health. I'm super aware of my OCD, how it impacts me, and I'm being brave and putting my life online. I'm doing it so I can help other people. Like, these are things that I would never have been able to do a couple years ago. My life was not together enough for me to even create this space. There's no way. My life was so moment to moment. I was always struggling with something in a really big way. Like, life was just very chaotic. So I have healed and grown in such a cool way. And I do feel that the more I can share about that on the podcast, but also talk about the ways in which I struggle to make it accessible for people, I feel like that's so good. Like, the podcast is so far from being a highlight reel. Like, it's very honest. It's very in between. When I do feel good, I also feel kind of bad. It's just moment by moment. I literally wrote in my journal yesterday. I had this journal entry from yesterday morning where I was like, I'm feeling so grounded. I'm feeling so centered. I feel like this is like, I like really found my path. I'm like loving what I'm doing. I feel creative. I feel engaged in my life. I feel like I'm just doing such a good job. And then flip 2 pages No, actually, that was my morning pages. I went to therapy. I got out of therapy and I journaled a little after. And after therapy, I was spiraling about something. So I just started to write all that down. And I literally put in there, isn't it wild that just 2 pages ago, I was so grounded, doing so well. And what? 2 pages later, I'm like crying on the fucking track? Like, not me crying on the track again on my fucking journal. There's like freaking tear marks and the pen's all fucked. Like, why are we? What are we? What happened is calm, grounded, creative Stephanie. Oh, just 2 pages ago, just this morning, that was her. And then what? 2 pages, couple hours later, couple little life happened. Now we're just spiraling on the page and fucking tears down the, streaking down the pen? Come on. And that's just a day in the motherfucking life, you know? So that's my intention. I'm not changing it. It just is that, you know? Just giving it to you guys really straight and really real. And I feel like it really will help somebody else because they'll be like, oh, okay, not just me, you know? Because yes, I've healed and I'm healing, but it's not easy. And I'm not always healed. It truly is like I'll have a healed moment. And I'm like, wow, I feel really good in this moment. Okay, enjoy this. Fuck, now we're crying. You know, like it's just that. That's what it is. You guys, that was fun. Thank you for being here. Bubsie says thank you for being here too. What do we have going on this weekend? Tomorrow I'm going to try to go to yoga with one of my friends. And then I want to get a new piercing or get my jewelry changed to my septum. So that's going to happen tomorrow, hopefully. I need to read a new book. Do you guys have any book recommendations? Yesteryear, fucking... I wish I blew my socks off. I've never said that in my entire life. Are you 100? Not blew my... Oh, God, somebody. I can't even say it again. It's so ridiculous. Oh, and I saw that friend this morning that I said bye guy to. And I called him by name and we did chit chat for a second. So he knows I know his name. Jesus Christ. And we also don't know each other that well. So I was like, he maybe did think that I forgot his name, but I didn't. I just see him all the time. But this morning I made it known. I was like, good morning. So, not that he even remembered or maybe he didn't pick up on it. But in my mind, it is front and center main stage, bitch. Bye, guy. Oh, God. Anyway, I love you guys so fucking much. Thank you so much for being here. Happy fucking Friday. Have the best weekend. Above says hi. And